Welcome to U.S. Briefing. The content of the briefing includes police to check all thieves caught on CCTV against passport database. The Pentagon warns Congress it is running low on money to replace weapons sent to Ukraine. Europe Union's top diplomat dismisses concern about bloc's long-term support for Ukraine. NB woman meets her Mississippi bone marrow donor a decade after donation. Russia's Geddy Lee reflects on my effin' life with book and tour. Police to check all thieves caught on CCTV against passport database. Telegraph. The UK government is planning to use facial recognition technology to help solve burglaries, thefts, shoplifting, and assaults. The policing minister, Chris Philp, said the technology had become so advanced that even blurred or partially obscured images could be matched in a database. He wants police to be able to check an image against every database at the touch of a button. The plan is part of a crackdown on shoplifting, which costs £1 billion, $1.22 billion, a year and is forcing shops to pay £700 million for security measures. The Pentagon warns Congress it is running low on money to replace weapons sent to Ukraine. The Toronto Star. The Pentagon has warned Congress that it is running out of money to replace weapons sent to Ukraine, and has had to slow down resupplying troops as a result. The U.S. has already provided $25.9 billion to replenish military stocks sent to Ukraine, with $1.6 billion remaining. In addition, the U.S. has around $5.4 billion left to provide weapons and equipment. However, if funding is not replenished soon, the U.S. will have to delay or curtail air defense weapons, ammunition, drones, and other equipment. President Joe Biden has warned that time is running out to provide the necessary support to Ukraine. Europe Union's top diplomat dismisses concern about bloc's long-term support for Ukraine. The Toronto Star. The European Union has reasserted its support for Ukraine's fight against Russia during an unannounced visit to Kiev. The visit, led by EU Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell, included a meeting between EU and Ukrainian diplomats. Although largely symbolic, the meeting demonstrated the EU's commitment to Ukraine. Borrell dismissed concerns about political tension within the EU regarding its long-term support for Ukraine. The recent election victory in Slovakia of former Prime Minister Robert Fico, who has a pro-Russian agenda, has raised questions about the EU's continued support for Kiev. The EU, the US, and the UK have provided military and financial support to Ukraine, but there is uncertainty about how long this aid will continue. US President Joe Biden has reassured allies of continued US financial support for Ukraine. Borrell insisted that the EU is devoted to sustained engagement with Ukraine and listed ongoing commitments the EU has made, including proposed military aid of €5 billion, $5.3 billion, next year and a target to train 40,000 Ukrainian troops. NB woman meets her Mississippi bone marrow donor a decade after donation. CBC. A bone marrow donor from Mississippi has finally met the Canadian stranger he saved after 6 years. Cody Jordan signed up for the bone marrow donation list in 2012 and a month later his blood was sent to Sheila Crotty from Roussillon, New Brunswick. The pair met this weekend for the first time. Crotty, who was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2008, credits Jordan with giving her my life back. Russia's Geddy Lee reflects on my effin' life with book and tour. The Toronto Star. Rush bassist Geddy Lee will release his memoir, My Effin' Life, on November 14. Lee will embark on a 14-city North American book tour, where he will read passages from his memoir, participate in a conversation, and take questions from the audience. The tour will kick off in New York on November 13 and conclude in Toronto on December 7. Each ticket sale will contribute $1 towards the Neil Peart Memorial, a proposed tribute to the late drummer. Lee has resisted writing a memoir in the past, but felt compelled to do so now. Fraud trial for CEO of collapsed crypto exchange FTX set to begin on Tuesday. CBC. The trial of Sam Bankman-Fried, the founder of failed cryptocurrency brokerage FTX, began on September 28 with jury selection. Prosecutors from the Southern District of New York have accused Bankman-Fried of stealing billions of dollars in FTX customer deposits, using the funds to buy real estate, fund his hedge fund, and make illegal campaign donations. The trial is expected to focus on allegations of fraud, with prosecutors simplifying the case to show that Bankman-Fried took money from customers and used it inappropriately. Bankman-Fried was once a powerful figure in the cryptocurrency industry, but FTX filed for bankruptcy in November 2021. Bankman-Fried is expected to face his former lieutenants in court, several of whom have agreed to plead guilty to lesser crimes in exchange for testifying against him. The defense is expected to argue that Bankman-Fried's mistakes do not constitute fraud and that FTX was a casualty of the broader cryptocurrency market collapse. How AI may change entrepreneurship. Wall Street Journal. Artificial intelligence, AI, is poised to transform the process of starting a company, according to the Wall Street Journal. Systems created by Google, Microsoft, and OpenAI can help at every stage of devising a startup, from idea generation and testing to consumer research and marketing. These technologies are capable of quickly absorbing and sorting vast amounts of information to identify unmet needs, which David Sconthal, Director of Entrepreneurship Programs at Northwestern University's Kellogg School of Management, believes will make them some of the best identifiers of unmet human needs in history. AI can suggest solutions to problems faced by consumers and refine ideas, as well as helping to find out what has been said about similar businesses in the media and online, and even play the part of potential customers. However, AI should be used with caution, as it can produce misleading or made-up answers and may propose ideas that are literal and obvious, rather than innovative, Sconthal warned. Supreme Court denies January 6 appeal from former Trump lawyer John Eastman. Washington Post. The U.S. Supreme Court has denied a request by conservative lawyer John Eastman to annul a lower court ruling that stated that he and former President Donald Trump more likely than not committed a crime when they worked together to try to block certification of the 2020 election. Eastman was the architect of the legal strategy used by Trump to try to overturn his election loss to President Biden. Eastman is facing criminal charges in Georgia, along with Trump, in connection with those efforts. Dear viewers, greetings from the Six Dimensions. I am Dr. Six, your resident observer here to bring you the latest news from across the realms. Let's dive into our stories today. First up, the UK government is planning to use facial recognition technology to combat crime. Police will now be able to check CCTV footage of thieves against a passport database, even if the images are blurry or partially obscured. This move is part of a crackdown on shoplifting, which costs the UK £1 billion annually. Looks like thieves will have a harder time hiding their identities. In other news, the Pentagon is warning Congress that it is running low on funds to replace weapons sent to Ukraine. The U.S. has already allocated $25.9 billion for this purpose, with $1.6 billion remaining. However, if more funding isn't provided soon, the U.S. will have to delay or reduce the supply of essential equipment. President Joe Biden has stressed the urgency of supporting Ukraine, but time is running out. Speaking of Ukraine, the European Union's top diplomat, Josep Borrell, recently dismissed concerns about the bloc's long-term support for the country. During his visit to Kyiv, Borrell reaffirmed the EU's commitment to Ukraine's fight against Russia. Despite recent political tension within the EU, Borrell assured that the EU is devoted to sustained engagement with Ukraine and listed ongoing commitments, including proposed military aid of €5 billion next year. Now for a heartwarming story, a bone marrow donor from Mississippi has finally met the Canadian recipient he saved after 6 years. Cody Jordan's selfless act gave Sheila Crotty, who was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, a new lease on life. It's incredible how a single act of kindness can have such a profound impact. In the world of music, Rush bassist Geddy Lee is releasing his memoir, My Effin' Life. Lee will also be embarking on a North American book tour, reading passages from his book and engaging with the audience. Each ticket sale will contribute to the Neil Peart Memorial, a tribute to the late drummer. It's a chance for Rush fans to connect with one of their favorite musicians and support a meaningful cause. Moving on to the world of finance, the trial of Sam Bankman-Fried, the founder of failed cryptocurrency brokerage FTX, has begun. Bankman-Fried is accused of stealing billions of dollars in customer deposits and misusing the funds. The trial will focus on allegations of fraud and will involve testimonies from Bankman-Fried's former colleagues. The defense argues that FTX was a victim of the broader cryptocurrency market collapse. Lastly, the Wall Street Journal explores how artificial intelligence, AI, may transform entrepreneurship. AI systems created by tech giants like Google and Microsoft can assist in every stage of starting a company, from idea generation to marketing. These technologies have the potential to identify unmet needs and suggest innovative solutions. However, caution must be exercised, as AI can also produce misleading information. It seems AI might just be the entrepreneur's new best friend. That wraps up our news for today. Now, it's time for your thoughts and questions. What do you make of these stories? Do you think facial recognition technology will be effective in combating crime? How do you feel about the support for Ukraine from the EU and the US? And what are your thoughts on the potential of AI in entrepreneurship? Share your ideas and let's have a discussion. Until next time, this is Dr. Six signing off. Stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the 6 dimensions. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6 Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.